2023 was a bit of a financial disaster year for me because I didn't know how much money was coming and going from my bank account. I didn't know how much money I spent, how much money I saved. So in 2024, I decided to track my expenses for the entire year to step up my money game. Hi, I'm Raquel. I'm a finance graduate and I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to finance, investments, and anything else related to money. 2024 has been my best year financially speaking because I started to earn money, I started to invest, but most importantly, I started to track my money. So now that 2024 is coming to an end, it's time for me to do a little financial audit and see where exactly I spent my money. I wanted to make this video to encourage everyone else to start tracking their money, not to judge yourselves, but to earn financial freedom. So let's get into it. The template that you're gonna see in this video is from Eddie Confortini, and I'll link it down below. I personally love it, but I made one that's completely free, although it's a bit more basic, but it's perfect for beginners. You'll find both of them in the description box. From now on, I'm gonna be looking at my laptop that I have over here. I hope you don't mind, because I wanna show you exactly what's on the budget template. First of all, we have the monthly budget. Here's where you put the income you expect to earn that month and where you state exactly how much money you want to spend in each category. So as you can see, we have the income table, needs, wants, debt payments, savings, and investing. And then we find the monthly dashboards from January all the way up to December. And here's where I've been tracking every single transaction that came into my checking account and out of it. But the most important tab that I wanted to show you is the yearly dashboard, where you will find your annual analytics that will help us reflect on our spending. So here you'll find a table with the annual cash flow summary, meaning the cash that came into your checking account and went out of it. So you start with your income and then you subtract every single expense category. So that will be your needs, debt, wants, savings, and investments. Of course, I love the pie chart where you can see in percentages how much went into each category. Then you can see by category how much you spent each month, and you can also see how much you spent in each subcategory. So for example, in wants, you would have gifts, restaurants, clothes, tech, self-care, travel, subscription, activities, trips, charity, and any other subcategory that you want to put. So now let's see exactly how much is spent in each category. But before that, I wanted to get a bit more into the details of each category to see what it really means and what you can or can't categorize in each of them. So starting off with the income, here you can put any subcategories, starting off with the salary, but you can put really any stream of income that you have. After that, we have essentials or needs. In this category, you should only include the expenses with which you can't live, meaning your bills, your rent, your groceries, transport to get to work, health, and so on. In the non-essentials or wants category, you can put anything else. So anything from restaurants, clothes, trips, and so on, you can put it there. Now, I wanted to point out that I include my gym expense into my essentials or needs. I know this isn't following the rules, but I really don't care because for me, it's an expense that's mandatory in the sense that I barely have any expense in health because where I live, we have a strong public health system. So since I don't have to spend anything into that, I want to include as a need any expense that encourages me to have an active lifestyle. With this, I wanted to explain that this rule or any other rule, we should interpret them as a guide and not as something that you have to follow or otherwise you'll be dead. Then we have savings. I personally divided into my HISA, that's my high yield savings account. That's where I have all of my savings. And then I have another account where I put the money that I'm gonna use for future trips. Then I have my investment account. In investments, I don't have any subcategory. It's just any kind of investments that I do. And in the debt category, you won't be seeing anything because I'm lucky enough to not have any debt. But now I know that you're here for the numbers, so I'm gonna give it to them. The total amount that I earned this year was 14,347 euros. This is huge for me. I know that for a lot of people, it's gonna be a really low salary, but this is not only my salary, and this is having into account that I didn't work every single month of 2023. The total amount is spent was 4,700. That's 36% of my income. That's really, really good, and I'm really proud of that. Now, the total amount saved was 44% of my income, 5,764 euros. Incredible, amazing amount of money saved. Honestly, it's crazy for me to have saved more than 5,000 euros. If you had told me a year ago that I would have saved 5,000 euros by the end of 2024, I wouldn't believe you. I know I have a long way to go, but anyway, I'm really proud of it, and I think I'm off to a good start. And the last number we're gonna see is the total amount invested, which was 2,460 euros. That's about 20% of my income. Since I'm very strict with myself, I'm not really happy because I wanted to start investing earlier in my 20s. But the truth is that I didn't have much money, and when you don't have a lot of money, you basically want to save most of it and spend as little as possible. Starting with needs, by category, most of my money has gone to groceries. I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, but if I wanted to reduce my expenses, that's where I would start. Because I buy a lot of things not out of necessity, but just because I'm passing by the supermarket and I fancy something to drink or something to eat. After that, gym and health are top priorities for me, so I don't regret a single euro spent there. So I'm just happy that I get to spend money on those things. The transport subcategory was really low because I only use public transport, and in my city it's extremely cheap for young people. Now, if there are two things that make me really happy in this life are traveling and food. So it's no wonder for me that these categories are the highest ones. I don't love that tech shows up as my second most expensive category, but this year, between the camera that I'm using right now, the earphones that I needed because my last ones broke, and the furniture that I bought for my bedroom, because yes, I categorize it as tech since it doesn't fit into any other category. It's just what it is. I could have saved money by not buying the camera, but I'm really excited about this project, so I have no regrets. I spent a lot of money on gifts, but I'm always happy to make gifts, as long as I'm not going crazy, of course, because all of my gifts are under 100 euros. Clothes is too high, especially for me, because buying clothes isn't by far the thing that makes me most happy. I'm not a fashion girly, so if I'm spending money on clothes, it's probably to impress others and not myself. However, I didn't have much money before starting to work, so most of my clothes are from my teenage years or they're hand-me-downs from my sister. So I'm slowly redoing my wardrobe. But even though I'm taking a minimalist approach, things are crazy expensive and it just costs money. Now, subscription is something that's gonna definitely increase next year, because up until now, I just have my Google Cloud payments. But for the next year, I will also be paying at least 2 or 3 more. So I guess I did really good until now, and we'll see next year. I also want to do more charity. I feel like this value hasn't had much presence in my life, and I want to change that. And about my activities, I would honestly like to spend more here and less in other categories. But for me, it's really hard to spurge on this one, not because it doesn't make me happy, but because I feel bad afterwards. So it's probably something I should work on next year. Now let's get on my most expensive shit. My most expensive month was September, mainly because I bought the camera that I'm using right now. And the second one was August, because I bought the furniture for my room. And my most expensive need is kind of embarrassing, honestly, because it's a probiotic that my doctor prescribed me. So I really hope you guys have a really healthy gut, because probiotics are expensive as hell. My most expensive one was, of course, trips. But the thing here is that it wasn't actually an expense. It's the money that I saved for the trip I'm gonna do next January. So it's a category that falls between expenses and savings. The month I invested the most was October. Just because it was my second month investing, I was very excited and it just budgeted a lot of money to do it. And then the month I saved the most was June, just because it was my birthday and I had more income coming in. So in summary, I'm really proud to have saved almost 50% of my income. My main goal for next year is to increase my investments, but I'm already on it. By the way, if you want to start investing, but don't know how to do it, just like me this summer. I know you loved the last video that I posted that I'll leave you over here. And when it comes to my expenses, if there's something that I want to do, is the money spent on wants. I don't spend a lot, but I think I could use less material things and more experiences, educational stuff, charity, and so on. And having into account that I still live with my family and that what I should be doing the most is saving up to eventually move out, I guess mission accomplished. I love to do this exercise to see how I really did this year, to congratulate myself, and to understand in which areas I can improve. I really encourage you to do it. And if you didn't track your money this year, make sure you do it next year by starting today. If you watched until now, thank you. I hope you liked it. Hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in my next video.